Hey, I'm getting nervous and concerned and about the attack by these Christians on Anthony Fauci. I mean, this is madness to begin with. The screaming, filthy attacks by the scum on the Fox sewer, all these Christian Nazi media outlets, the Christian Nazis themselves, attacking a man who has devoted his life to public health in this country. A man who, because of his actions, have probably saved the lives, without these Nazis realizing it, of an unknown number of these Nazis and their family members because of what Fauci has advocated over the years and the efforts he's made at educating the rest of us about public health and how to stay alive. So they're attacking him. I cannot fully comprehend this. I can't. I've tried. Most of the energy that I have in trying to understand something is diverted into trying to understand why people devote themselves to religion in general, but Christianity specifically, because it's such a fucked, bloody, belligerent philosophy. I can't, I've had my consciousness sucked in that direction for a number of years trying to figure that out. But setting that aside, I look at what they're doing to Anthony Fauci and how his life is threatened. It's been threatened over and over again. Because of what? Because he told people to wear masks? I mean, think about that, if you can, for just a moment. It's insane. Now, if you remember during the 2016 presidential campaign, when this orange cockroach first, crawled down the escalator with his bitch in hand and started his campaign, and he locked in on attacking Hillary Clinton, remember? Remember the chants of "lock her up" that were screamed and farted and wheezed by these Trump supporters with wild abandon and glee? Oh my God, they looked like they were having orgasms. You remember that? Lock her up, lock her up. Ah! Whenever Hillary Clinton's name was mentioned, this wild fantasy manifested among these Trump scum. And in their fantasy, they saw Clinton arrested, handcuffed, tossed behind bars. As Paul Waldman wrote in the Washington Post today, quote, "It was not enough to defeat her in the election. She had to be punished in a very personal and physical way." Can I see a show of hands? Anybody know what it was that Hillary Clinton did? I mean, really, there were 14 hearings, or was it 24 or 104 on the Benghazi thing when she was Secretary of State, the responsibility for which was not hers. But what did Hillary, wait, stop. That's right. She's a female. She was a woman who decided she was not going to stay home. What did she say way back when her husband was running for president? "I'm not the type that stays home and bakes cookies," like Tammy Wynette or whatever she said. Oh, goddamn, did that piss people off, didn't it? You're not going to stay home and bake cookies, bitch. That's what the people with rational minds said. Well, good on you, girl. Go. There's no reason why you should stay home and bake cookies. But the Christian demons in this country, even back then, 35 years ago, oh my word. That was like shoving a hot poker in areas of their body where you should not put a hot poker. But it really riled them up. So 30 years later, lock her up, lock her up. Now, as Paul Waldman points out, visions of that fantasy of locking someone up, throwing away the key, someone who is advocating what? Terror? Overthrowing the government? Death of children? Suffocating puppies? I don't think Hillary Clinton advocated that. A lot of things about Hillary Clinton's politics I disagreed with. BFD. But Dr. Fauci? Dr. Fauci? I mean, what did he do? Well, you don't have to do anything to rattle the cage of these crazy son of a bitches who wear the little red MAGA hats. Let me just digress for a second. One thing I do appreciate, though, with the MAGA hats, because the way the goddamn things are constructed, it stopped all these redneck fucks from wearing a backward baseball hat. That's something that just about has driven me crazy. Especially when I see it on white men. I don't think any self-respecting black dudes do this anymore. They're the ones who started it. And then white men picked up on it, right? And the irony to me was Southern white men picked up on it. Hey, I'm going to wear my hat backwards. Oh, isn't that cool? Well, see, you can't wear a MAGA hat backward because then nobody can see what an asshole you are with that MAGA on the front. Make America great again, right? So for that, I have to say, let me step out of my role as Trump hater for just a moment. Hey, Donald, that was pretty cool. Thank you, man. You got all these people, all these white boys to stop wearing their goddamn hat backwards. Thank you. Okay, into that shit. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Visions of the fantasy of locking Hillary Clinton up has now been shifted to Dr. Fauci. And not just among the dumb shits who stand there with their mouths open and their hands in their pockets and goosing somebody else's wife in these big rallies or somebody else's husband. No. Republican leaders, conservative media figures, neo-fascist celebrities in this country. They're all coming out with this get Dr. Fauci. And liberals are not immune to this impulse. There have been some liberals who have said some shitty things about Dr. Fauci, right? But these Christian demons are usually the most eager to use the criminal justice system against the people that they deem are not Christian enough, I guess, or are not vocal enough in their support of this filthy pig, Donald Trump. And as Paul Waldman says, quote, this desire isn't really about the actual procedures of that system, the criminal justice system. It's about the fantasy itself, one that thrums with an undercurrent of violence. End quote, Paul Waldman. Yeah, have you noticed? I'm sure you have. It doesn't take a Paul Waldman, although I certainly respect his opinion, or me, or you, or your friends. Nobody has to tell us about this undercurrent of unbelievable racist, anti-Semitic, anti-gay, anti-everything violence that is the underpinning of this Christian demonology that is rampant in the country right now. It's astonishing to me how a simple religion is supposed to be simple. Turn the other cheek, do unto others, you have them do unto you, which is not an ancient Jewish or a Christian or Muslim idea. Do unto others. That so-called golden rule exists in just about every religion that humans have ever constructed. But it usually gets trashed right away, right? Because once the priests of these various religions realize, hey, wait a minute, I got some powerful shit here, man. I can manipulate people. Well, screw that. Turn the other cheek. Let's go bloody both cheeks on everybody's face. Where was I? Oh, yeah, the undercurrent of violence that goes hand in glove with lock her up, lock him up. Good God. Take Elon Musk. As Paul Waldman points out, he recently tweeted, my pronouns are prosecute Fauci. That's supposed to be a pronoun joke. And these Christian demons in this country have long demanded the prosecution of Anthony Fauci for his work as the government's leading coronavirus advisor. And these Christian demon leaders throw around these violent words to describe what they would like to do to Anthony Fauci. It's unreal, this shit. I mean, it is just unbelievable. But it's happening. You can see it happening all the time. some right-wing nutcases are demanding that Twitter employees that Elon Musk doesn't like should be jailed. And Musk is now using his platform, this white bastard is using his platform to spread this QAnon madness. Central to the QAnon vision that Musk is now promoting, and Trump is promoting, and the Christian demons are promoting, central to that vision is the idea of that. This is directly out of Christian insanity from the book of Revelation. It's this impending reckoning, only they call it the storm. Oh my goodness, the storm is coming. And that is the situation in which all of the enemies of these Christian demons will be rounded up and either jailed or executed. Huh? You see how lovely this Christian horseshit is? This is what I've been telling you, folks. I've been telling you this for a long time, not because I am well educated about Christian madness, but because I open my ears and my eyes and pay attention, just like you do. And Musk, this white South African terrorist, who should lose his citizenship. He should be thrown the fuck out of the country as far as I'm concerned. Boy, I've gotten radical with this stuff, haven't I? Yeah, I guess I have. But Musk is only a little bit behind Trump because Trump is now endorsing QAnon. As Trump realizes that the majority of the population in this country are just sick and tired of this son of a bitch, his little universe is getting smaller and smaller until eventually he will be the official leader. He's not yet, but he'll be the official leader of the American Nazi Party, which is in a period of rebirth. The American Nazi Party is being reborn, the one that existed, in the 1930s, in the lead up to World War II, in their support of the Nazis in Germany, and their anti-Semitism and their racism. But as the little girl said in Poltergeist, they're bad. They're here. Actually, they never went away, did they? The American Nazis. And in addition to all this, as Paul Waldman points out in the Post, in his latest bullshit attention-grabbing stunt, this insane Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, this Christian crazy person, has asked the state Supreme Court in Florida to put together a grand jury to investigate, his words, criminal or wrongful activity relating to the coronavirus vaccines. Huh? Now, DeSantis, and I may get to this a little bit later in the podcast, the question, will 2024 be a vaccine election? But DeSantis apparently has gone completely out of his goddamn mind where it concerns disease prevention with vaccines. And at one time, he was a promoter of vaccination. But in that regard, since he promoted vaccines at one point, should he prosecute himself? I mean, that's all Fauci has been doing. Oh, and wear a mask. Waldman says, quote, in any controversy today, sooner or later, someone on the right will be calling for people they disagree with to be locked up. So look at this rationally, and you might conclude that it would be politically unwise to get your base whipped up with the idea of prosecuting your enemies because you will almost certainly not be able to deliver. Trump led those lock her up chants and told Clinton in a debate that if he were president, you'd be in jail But as president for 4 years, he made no attempt to prosecute her. So why didn't his supporters rebel? End quote, Paul Waldman. Well, yeah, but what about the wall that Mexico was going to pay for? Build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. Remember that shit? The Trump supporters are the classic example of the true believer, the herd, the craziness that saturates a crowd, especially when that crowd is half nuts to begin with. It's incredible. Incredible. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. You know, the Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.